More now on those dueling speeches today by President Obama and former Vice President Cheney. Joining me now live here in the studio are David Rittgers, a legal policy analyst at the Cato Institute, and Dr. James Ludis, Executive Director of the American Security Project. Gentlemen, great to see you both. Thanks for coming in. I want to focus on a couple of issues here. First and foremost, the President, his call to close Guantanamo, and the question of what to do with the detainees. And I also want to focus on what Vice President Cheney said today, his vigorous defense of the harsh interrogation methods. So what should happen to the detainees? Where should they go if Gitmo is closed? And Dr. Ludis, we'll start with you.
I think that fundamentally the speech today and what the President has tried to do over the first 5 months of his administration is really to restore the rule of law to America's conduct of the war on terror. I don't think anybody doubts that Al-Qaeda is a threat, that it needs to be dealt with aggressively. But we are a nation of laws, and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights say that even in a time of war, we're still going to stay true to certain values. And I think that's what the President has set out doing. He's put in place a process that is designed to adjudicate those cases which can be brought to trial, to hold those who can't be brought to trial but still pose a threat to the United States. I think it's pragmatic, and I think it's the right way to go.
David, the Vice President today vigorously defended, offered no apologies for the harsh interrogation methods that have been used, and he said to call them torture is just flat out wrong. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a mischaracterization. Clearly, the techniques used were, number one, illegal, number two, wrong. We can't afford to lose the moral high ground when we're fighting this struggle against a terrorist group whose primary tool is propaganda, and giving them propaganda works against us.
And I should say that you served multiple tours in Afghanistan, so this is something you have direct experience in terms of seeing what happens at Guantanamo, or what this country does, how it's viewed by people in other places.
Absolutely. I also note that not a whole lot has changed, and a lot of this back and forth is just rhetoric. If John McCain had been elected in 2008, he also said that he was going to be closing Guantanamo, so we could be having this same discussion today. And the divisions of categories of the detainees that we have, some are going to be tried, some are going to be let go because they're determined not to be a threat, and some are going to continue to be held, and that's not a change either.
I guess the fear or the risk in all of this, as the New York Times story today pointed out, 1 in 7 that have been released from Guantanamo have gone back into the theater of terrorism, of joining the fight against the United States. So can you understand the worries of those who are criticizing any efforts to let anybody else go from Guantanamo?
Well, certainly, but if we take a look at some of the facts, the gentleman who went back to lead the Taliban in the Helmand province, Abdullah Ghulam Rasul, he was captured by the Northern Alliance. We had no American soldiers who saw him do anything related to the Taliban, and he just claimed to have been picked up wrongly on the battlefield. So without any proof, there's no great legal system that solves this problem. There's no silver bullet.
I think that speaks really to sort of the President Obama was very careful today not to try to ascribe a great deal of blame. He went out of his way to say that the Bush administration made decisions at the time based on the evidence they had in an environment of fear and threat. The fact of the matter is, though, that we did not create an enduring legal framework for prosecuting the war on terror, and we needed to. And what President Obama is doing now is trying to put that process in place. It's long overdue, but if you're going to fight a conflict that is generational in nature, that it's going to last years and years, you need to have an enduring legal framework to do so.
So the question that's still out there, what kind of plan is the administration going to have to come up with that's going to satisfy Congress to the point where it will provide the money to close Guantanamo? Because that's the big story this week. Democrats and Republicans said, you don't have a plan, so we're not giving you the billions it'll take to close it.
I think that at the end of the day that the administration is clearly working this very aggressively, both in the departments and in the agencies and in the White House itself. I think there will be a plan, and I would expect that eventually Congress, unless they want to be called hypocrites, they're going to have to put up.
And last word, David.
I would just say that we held 450,000 enemy prisoners of war during World War II on our soil. So this really pales in comparison to the burdens that we've faced in the past. I think that we're going to move forward and handle this pretty well.
All right, David Rittgers, Dr. Lettuce, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you both.